Welcome, everyone, to Accented Dialogues in Diaspora. I'm Philip Nguyen, your co-host, and today we have the honor of speaking with comedians Will Pepper and Danny Plom. Accented is a production of the Diasporic Vietnamese Artist Network, or DVAN. Tonight is our 56th episode of Accented, titled Comedy in Diaspora, Southeast Asian Stand-Up. And the music that you've just been hearing is from our in-house DJ, DJ Tan, who is a Vietnamese American filmmaker, cultural curator, and DJ based in Seattle. Thank you for providing us with the vibes to start off tonight. In case you didn't know, this show, Accented, that we've been hosting for I think 5 or 6 years now. We do it here live on Zoom. You can also find the show by checking out anywhere where you listen to podcasts. All of our shows and the commentary, the questions, the conversations that we have can be found on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. DVAN's mission, in case you didn't know, is to amplify diasporic Vietnamese and Southeast Asian literary voices. We empower artists in the diaspora and champion our complex and diverse stories, ensuring our perspectives reshape and expand the broader cultural narrative. To learn more about us, you can visit us at dvan.org or check us out on Instagram, on Facebook. Take some screenshots, share them out, and tag us at weare_dvan. And without further ado, to introduce our co-host for tonight's Accented Season 6 finale, Viet Thanh Nguyen, is a Pulitzer Prize winning author of The Sympathizer, its sequel, The Committed, and his memoir, A Man of Two Faces, a memoir, A History of Memorial. He's a children's book co-author, no longer university professor, and or at least up until next week. Viet, you can talk a little bit about that. Maybe you can find your next career in comedy. And one of the co-founders for the Diasporic Vietnamese Artist Network. Welcome back, Viet, to our finale for this season.
Philip, it's so good to be back here at the end of season 6 with two amazing and very funny young comedians who happen to be Southeast Asian as well. I found both of them first online on Instagram, where I spend way too much time looking at stand-up comedy. So I'm glad we're getting a chance to talk to both of them tonight. Our first guest is Will Pepper. It's a very traditional Vietnamese name. You may not know that. But Will Pepper is a Vietnamese American comedian based in Los Angeles whose comedy blends sharp storytelling with painfully honest observations. He's a recurring performer on The Uncle Roger Show, with episodes featuring him reaching over 10 million views, and his stand-up clips have amassed millions more online, including views from me. He has toured internationally, opening for Jason Cheney and Jimmy O. Yang, and has headlined the New York Comedy Festival. And his work has been featured on Netflix is a Joke Radio. Welcome, Will Pepper.
Thank you for having me.
Our next guest is someone Will also knows, Danny Plom. He is a Cambodian American comedian and actor based in Los Angeles, California. I think we're all based in Los Angeles, California. Let's find out if there are any stand-up comedians who are based in like Columbus, Ohio. He has performed at iconic comedy venues like the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store, and the Hollywood Improv. You've also seen him on your TV screens appearing on Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu. He is also the co-host of the viral comedy show Afro Noodles. Welcome to the show, Danny Plom.
Yay! Glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
It is true what Philip said. My secret ambition, after being a hairstylist, my secret ambition is to be a stand-up comedian. But I'm too terrified. I'm too cowardly. I'm too chicken to do the kinds of work that you manly men do. So we're here to learn some lessons from the both of you tonight. And what can we say? I think every moment is a good moment for comedy. It has to be. But we're living at a time where there's so much happening in the world that is terrifying, that is existential, that is crisis driven. I've lost track, honestly, of the things that cause me stress and keep me up at night. But again, this is good material for comedians. But I wanted to check in with you first. How would you describe how you're feeling today and the state of the world? We'll start with Will Pepper.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Um, yeah, that's a very good question. I think comedy starts out from that, like something crazy happening, like when I don't even know when comedy started, but like during the always like the Vietnam War was a big thing, and then you know, or after like I hear stories of people talking about like I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up. Like 9/11. Okay, I don't know why I'm laughing, but 9/11, people is in New York. New York is like the hub for comedy. And I hear stories of as soon as 9/11 happened, that night comics were coming out. And people during crazy times, people need to laugh, and especially now with all these things going on in the world, it's like I think more than ever we need comedy. So I'm excited.
So you're saying that after a devastating human tragedy that took 3,000 lives and changed the shape of the world and the United States, you can immediately make a joke.
Okay, well, when you put it like that,
We're not ready for it. We're not ready for it yet.
I don't know. That's exactly what we're supposed to be talking about here. Like, have you ever made a joke about the Vietnam War, Will?
uh, I have jokes around it. Like I have my grandparents met during the Vietnam War. My grandpa's prisoner. My
We're
grandma was on the side, my grandpa on the south side. He locked her up and he was like, "Yo, like, you look kind of good though."
damn, he locked her
Yeah,
up
the
and then they
Vietnam
locked
War
him.
was so hot. The Vietnam War was so hot. That's how my grandparents got together. That's pretty good. Yeah. Danny, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. A little disturbed by Will, to start off that way, but I'm just kidding. Uh, no, it's so funny because a lot of the, comedy comes from pain anyways, and it's our job to kind of you know, make it less hurtful for everyone so they can enjoy some sort of that pain, you know what I mean?
Well, what's the formula? Like it's tragedy plus time equals comedy. Did I get that right? Did they teach that to you in comedy school?
Whoa.
Is that the saying?
Is there a comedy school? Vit's
I
trying
don't
to.
know. I mean, like you can go to school for almost anything, so I assume there's a comedy school out there somewhere. But I thought that was
Um,
the routine. Like it's all the painful things that can happen, and for us, obviously, as Southeast Asians, there's a lot of painful things. But you got to give it a little bit of time before you can start making the jokes. And the closer you cut that amount of time, the more daring the
right.
joke gets.
It does. Yeah, I would say because of the day and age that we're in and being social media and as comedians in the community, you have to be the first one to tackle that topic. Otherwise, it's gonna get, and you're not the original, thought behind that joke or whatever it might be. So that gets lost in translation when, again, like you said, there is that grieving period where you got to be like, whoa, maybe we shouldn't say anything yet until this like like Charlie Kirk, for example, that was a big thing, and everyone started speaking on that immediately, versus
Yeah, but who cares about Charlie Kirk? I mean, that's not a tragedy for half the country, right? So you can start making jokes right away. That's part of
yeah,
the
yeah,
problem, right? But if
yeah,
it's someone from our community, we're like, oh no, we can't make jokes about that anti-Asian hate crime that just happened yesterday. That's a little bit that's going too far. Now you're really
yeah,
going to risk getting canceled by your own people.
for sure, yeah. I don't know, Will. What are you quick to make jokes?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really do political or like current events. I think, but I do talk about I say some crazy stuff in my stand up. And what I find is that after the show, people are always like, "Oh, like my dad did that too," or like I have that thing in my family. And sometimes they're Vietnamese and sometimes they're not, what I mean, they're not like they're not even Asian sometimes, and I think that's what connects us is the some of the trauma that we all have. And so I think it's fine.
So if social media is a gauge of like red lines that you can't cross, and given what I know that you do, Will, like a red line that you cannot cross is to criticize somebody else's Asian food. Like I mean, I've just like there was recently a thing on social media where people like rank your top 10 Asian cuisines. There's no way you can do this list without upsetting somebody. There is
Yeah.
no way you could do this list without upsetting somebody. So that is like an example of a joke that you're really on some risky territory. So Will, name your top three Asian cuisines.
Ooh,
I
ooh.
mean, this is not even hard, honestly. Vietnamese food for sure on top.
Given our
And
audience, that's
then
the right answer. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Asian food for sure. I can eat Asian food. I mean, I'm Vietnamese, so I'm kind of biased,
Will,
but
Will, you're
Vietnamese.
dodging the question. Everybody knows you're going to say Vietnamese food because you're Vietnamese. What's number two and what's number three?
We had a debate on this, by the way, online, me and Will. So,
Oh, you?
Yeah.
I think we have it. We have the clip, don't we? Don't?
oh, do you want to
Do we
play it? We
not?
can play it.
Yeah,
Should
let's
we
play
pull
this.
it
Play
up?
this clip.
Okay.
Give you some time. Oh,
Cambodian food is better than Vietnamese food.
What?
Yeah, I said it.
No. Vietnamese food is superior by far.
What do you guys got that we don't got?
Okay, first of all, the most famous thing we got is pho.
Pho?
Yeah.
Pho, okay, we have the deal. Cambodian pho.
The fact that it's called Cambodian pho means pho is better. Bum Way, it's like a spot.
It's not better than baba. You know what baba is? That's Cambodian rice porridge.
Cambodian rice porridge.
Yeah.
Oh, ban sao is like a Vietnamese crepe thing with shrimp inside and a bean sprout. It's fire. It's fire.
Okay, we got zalama too. Yeah.
What's that?
Zalama too. That's like sour beef soup. It's bomb.
Yeah, that sounds fire.
Yeah, it's really good. Real ones know, okay? I'm just saying.
I mean, okay, Vietnamese for sure. Unlock, love Hennessy, bruh.
Oh, Cambodians love Hennessy too though.
Really?
Yeah, Hennessy and gambling.
Oh, fuck. Yo, okay, Vietnamese love gambling. Right?
For real?
Yeah.
Oh. We're not really different, you and I.
Yo, pause. Yo,
Hey,
pause.
we have a show at the Laugh Factory, April 29th, 9 p.m. Come hang out. We have a Viet and Cambodian and, you know.
April 29th,
Yeah.
Hollywood Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
and that show was one day before the fall of Saigon, which also connects to both of y'all too, right? So food
Yeah.
and
Shout out to
food and war.
Food war.
But okay, so Will, so Viet's question back to Viet's question, the top three. You got
Yeah.
Vietnamese up top, Cambodian somewhere in there.
Dang!
No. Okay, fine. Okay, okay. Vietnamese, Korean food, and probably Japanese. Oh no, Thai food. Thai food.
Ooh.
Okay. So Cambodian food. Right, Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But I mean, I guess one question that we've got for both of y'all, as we sort of like ease into that conversation, in our routine, is I think obviously there's some aspects of Southeast Asian American culture that and heritage and history that sort of informs your comedy. How how do y'all integrate it into your work? Like how do you see it as something that influences your comedy? And is there ever a good way to make jokes about your Southeast Asian roots or family? Yeah, I'll go with you, Danny, first.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think a lot of that ties into kind of what I talk about on stage, and I know that there's not many, like Cambodian comedians out there. So I always try to make that known so we can bring more awareness to like the Southeast Asian, community, because a lot of us, there's not a lot of comedians as far as like C Asians, you know what I mean? So
Mm,
I talk about that a lot. I talk about like as far as Cambodian, loving donut shops because, I don't know if you know this, but a fun fact, 90% of donut shops in America are owned by Cambodians, So I try to make fun of that. I try to make fun of like how we don't have restaurants though, because everyone eats at all the other Asian spots, but we don't have any other than Long Beach and maybe like somewhere in Lowell, Massachusetts.
right.
But I talk about how, like a lot of it does, I try to find the funny and like, and sometimes I get heat for it where it's like, oh, like I have this joke about, I'm like, we're not as well known as like the light-skinned Asians. And I say, and I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a stereotype in the Asian community where they refer to us as like the dumb, dark-skinned Asians. And everyone's always like, ooh. And I'm like, yeah, can you believe that? Because it's one of those stereotypes because it's like true. And then everyone just like laughs at that or whatever. But it's like
Yeah.
they'll be like, we're not, we're better than this. And you get comments and stuff. It's a mix, right? It's like some laughing, but then some like, why would you put down our people? But it's really just like all in fun, all in jokes, all to bring awareness to like, hey, we're entertainers, we can do this too, and we're out here, and so
Mm.
yeah, I talk about it a lot. I think from an Asian perspective, people, especially like Americans and other races that are not, Asian, we have to break that down because when you say Asian, there's obviously there's Japanese, there's Vietnamese, there's Hmong, there's Indonesian, there's all these, so I think what I love about me and Will collaborating a lot now is that we're bringing awareness to a lot of people about the different types of Asians and the jokes within that. So that's really cool,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like breaking down like this Asian like monolith, the mono minority, all that sort of like Asian American studies type stuff, and then really giving like pride and representation to all the jungle Asians out there that can relate to
Yeah.
all the things that go unspoken that people might
Yeah.
know
I,
about. Yeah.
I don't know about this jungle Asian thing. I know it's
Yeah, you
sort
don't know
of
about jungle
taken
Asians?
off, but it leaves me a little bit uneasy, honestly. And was it Ali Wong who coined it, or did that term exist before she did it in one of her performances? Did you hear it
Oh
before?
man,
Oh.
maybe before I feel like I've got called Jungle Asian for a while.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like, what do you think? Is it not a problem to be called a jungle Asian?
It does.
What do you think?
I don't know. It has a little a little ring to it. And not the good ring either, you know what I mean? Like
I mean, we do have jungles.
Everybody's got jungles, Will. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like that's not like not unique to Southeast Asian people or whatever. A lot of good stuff happens in jungles. I know that, but the connotation is still
A lot of
a
bad
little
stuff too.
a lot of bad stuff too.
People
It's
do.
like, so when I was growing up, and I'm a lot older than you guys. In fact, I'm old enough to be Will's dad at least, which means I'm probably old enough to be Danny's dad too. And if I was really Vietnamese, I could have had kids at 16 or younger. Who knows? But when I was growing up, during the post-Vietnam War years, I got a lot of, racist comments for being Vietnamese. Like, did you fight in the Vietnam War? Did you carry an AK-47? And to me, like, being a jungle Asian has some of that feeling. But do you think that we're taking over the jungle Asian idea and making it our own?
That's our, what I mean? Like, yeah, we're taking the power back. I think we're making it cool. We're gonna make t-shirts. We're
Oh
gonna
my
sell
God.
merch at our shows.
It's just gonna be those t-shirts are just gonna have me and Will's face on there with like it's like two cherry trees, just our faces, our heads, just like jungle Asians, you know what I mean? Jungle-
Now, I'm just going to guess that your parents did not raise you to be comedians. That was probably not like something they had in their minds. Like, oh, one day Danny and one day Will, these cute little boys, are going to grow up and become stand-up comedians and make us proud. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to me like that is something that a lot of parents in general, probably, but also specifically Southeast Asian parents want. So, Danny, when did the idea first come to you that you might want to be in comedy?
Oh wow. Okay, so I'm gonna try to sum this up as easy as possible. So my my parents actually left me, got divorced when I was like maybe like not even 6 months to a year old. And
That's
so
very jungle Asian. Okay, go ahead.
very jungle Asian, right on par with, you know what I mean? So right on brand. So my parents divorced, left me to be raised by my grandma. And so she raised me kind of since I was, a baby. And so she kind of just let me kind of figure it out and do whatever. And old Asian grandmas don't care, They just you can go out till 2 a.m., come back home, and it's like, okay, here's some rice and eggs. So it's like so that's how I grew up, right? So there really wasn't any strict like curfews and rules. And so to me, it was like when I saw how it started was I was watching like TV and I saw, the Eddie Murphys and I saw like these sitcom shows and I was like, and I saw when his stand-up special came out, I was like, oh man, I want to make people laugh. I don't know if I could do that, but I started Googling, how people got on TV and how people do stand-up. And then it said, go to open mics, and so I was like, ooh, because it was open mics or improv at the time. Obviously, I'm super broke, so I couldn't afford improv classes. So, you can go to an open mic at a coffee shop for free and just perform and do terrible jokes, for 5 minutes. And then that's it from there.
Who, with that experience, who's it more painful for? The comedian at the cafe or the audience who is trapped there in the cafe with this comedian trying out material for the very first time?
Ooh, definitely, definitely,
The
definitely the
audience.
audience. Definitely the audience. Oh man, they didn't want this. They're over sipping their coffee, enjoying their meal, and then this guy comes up, hey, what do you know about Vietnamese wars? So it's like, no.
So I know that like one of the so again, I watch a lot of like stand-up comedy on Instagram Reels, and because I'm trying not to do work, but like a common thing is like you said, like for a person of a particular background to make that background a part of their routine. Like if I'm Cambodian, I'm going to talk about. I don't know. I don't know if Cambodians talk about the Cambodian genocide, but I'm going to talk about my Cambodianness and my Vietnamese. I'm going to talk about Vietnam and the Vietnam War. So like Will, was that a pressure you felt like I got to talk about my Vietnameseness if I'm going to be a stand-up comedian?
Yeah, it's a point now that I try to make. I try to be intentional about it because there's like what Danny said, there's not a lot of Cambodian and there's not a lot of Vietnamese comedians. So I try to do that on purpose. But also at the same time, I'm not like talking about I'm talking about myself and I am Vietnamese and it's just a part of who I am. And so that, it just comes naturally. And I talk about my family a lot and people, a big thing in comedy as you're developing is like everyone's trying to find their voice and like you want to do jokes that's like, oh, I no one can take these jokes or steal these jokes. So it's like how you do it is just talk about yourself. And
That idea of voice, like writers talk about it all the time. And it's probably true for a lot of artists. Like, what's your voice? You have to find, for me, it's like the voice is something internal. It's something very unique and authentic to you. And it does actually take a long time to figure out, what that is that's original to you versus to somebody else. So Will, looking at your name, if I had never seen your face and the name Will Pepper came up, your face wouldn't come with it. Honestly, I mean, or if it does now, be like, oh, Will Pepper was like adopted by two white people from Kansas. Is that the case? Were you adopted by two white people?
no, my parents kept me, unfortunately. No, my original last name is Theo, and my dad translated all of our names to English when I was in high school because in his mind he was like, oh, like if we all had white sounding last names, it would be easier to get a business loan. And he changed all of our names to on a Tuesday when I was in high school. So I came like Tuesday I was Theo and Wednesday I was Pepper.
Oh, damn.
Oh my
So
God.
my teacher was confused.
Did you get the loan or did your dad get the loan?
Yeah, it worked. He changed his name to look white so he can open up a nail salon. So
Mm.
that was
That's like
it
the
was
worst
very
marketing
convincing.
ever. Like, who would go to a white person to do your nails? Because if someone said the white person's nail salon, I'd be like, oh, that's going to cost three times as much as the Vietnamese happy nail
Right.
salon.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
gosh, that seems like a bad business decision on the part of your dad.
What's the name of the nail salon? It wasn't like Pepper Nails or nothing like that, right?
We had a few, but it's closed now. But it was called LV Day Spa, and my dad's Vietnamese name is Vu Yu,
Mm.
and then my mom is Long, and they just combined their initials LV, and then oh wow, LV Louis Vuitton, our name, this is perfect.
Louis Vuitton?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, ain't nothing that Vietnamese folks or even like Southeast Asian folks love more than or love flexing more than like their LV bags. I feel like it's
Yeah.
it's part of the culture at this point in time. So what
That
what
means
I
that
mean
means we're not jungle Asians if we have an LV bag or an LV wallet or an LV keychain, right?
that is true.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom, came up.
From the jungles. So what's been the response? I know that like I mean, well, your dad is like featured in some of your reels, your clips. I think I know y'all do like a cooking show together. What's been like the reception from your family for you to pursue comedy? Like, we talked about like y'all getting like your inspiration, motivation to actually like do it, but now that you're sort of in it, well, what's the reception? Is this the move?
Yeah, I think now they're pretty supportive of it. And well, I was pre-med. I was supposed to be Dr. Pepper. That was like my original goal. I was like very set on being Dr. Pepper. I went to EMT school, and then I was like doing pre-med, and then my friend asked me to go to this open mic with him, and then I went a few times, and I tried to like do it, and at first they thought it was a phase. They were like, "Oh, him doing comedy will help him get into med school. He'll stand out on the application, you know." But but now they're pretty on board with it and pretty supportive because I can pay rent and take care of myself. And they came to a show, and my dad was like, honestly, when I first saw you, I didn't think you're gonna make it. Uh, I didn't want to tell you because it's really mean, but now, like I think you got it. So you
Mm.
know, it's cool.
They're not like heckling
I
you.
think he was saying I love you. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Damn.
it.
okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Dang, I
No,
didn't know this
oh,
is.
no
I
wonder.
thought this was like a show about comedy, not horror, you know?
Well, you know, like if you ever have a sitcom called Dr. Pepper, you know, I mean, the generic formula for the sitcom is you got to end on a heartwarming note.
Mm.
So your dad was like, "I thought you were gonna suck, Will, but you were actually pretty good. I love you."
Yeah.
See, that's how you end the
Wow.
show.
Can you
Yeah.
come translate for my dad whenever he talks to me?
We
I'm
should
gonna do
This
play.
cognac shots with your dad, but I think your dad is too manly for me. And
Yeah,
in
the
fact, I
start
think
of
we have a clip of Will and his dad, right?
yes, yeah, it's
This is
well, yeah, go for it.
this is
Oh my God, that is a Vietnamese man!
This is
Look at that! Oh my God!
yeah, this is a
Honestly,
little
if I saw your dad, if I just saw your dad, if I saw your dad on like Bolsa Boulevard, I would walk in the other direction. Honestly, I would not make eye contact with this man.
that's wild.
yeah,
But
this is a little long. You don't have to show the whole thing, but we made baka and my dad is just he's crazy.
yeah, nothing more heartwarming than
Vietnamese
like
beef
cooking with your
stew.
dad.
Motherfucker, you ain't myself, bro. No, this is mine. MSG Vietnamese crack. Red onion, garlic. Salt, black
I think it's
pepper.
lagging.
The garlic powder. This one right here. Curry powder. Oyster sauce.
Do you like this brand of oyster sauce?
Yes, I like this one. This one is panda. It should look like you, bro.
It might be lagging.
Mayonnaise,
Unfortunately, it's lagging, but you can
24
still
hours.
hear
Now
the
slap 'em
genuine
around, mix it up.
Slap
Vietnameseness.
them around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love touching my.
Okay,
Crazy
hold
knows
on.
the end
Will,
Let's try this.
Will,
Let's
I
try
mean,
this one more time for the one time. Hold on. I think we let's see.
Yeah, Vietnamese beef stew.
Motherfucker, you ain't myself, bro.
No, this is mine.
MSG Vietnamese crack. Red onion, garlic. Salt, black pepper. The garlic powder. This one right here. Curry powder. Oyster sauce.
Do you like this brand of oyster sauce?
Yes, I like this one. This one is panda. It should look like you, bro.
I'll burn you.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, 24 hours. You know, slap them around, mix it up.
Slap them around.
Yeah.
I love touching my meat.
Yes. Bit tender.
We'll leave it at that because I think the most recent one.
That was really jungle Asian. Will, are those real tattoos on you, or did you draw those on?
They're real. Yeah, I have a few tattoos. I got them when I was 18 from the same tattoo artist as my dad.
See, he loves you. That he loves you. That is so clearly the case. Yeah. Danny, do you have similar like? Has your family come to see you do your thing?
No, actually, they still disown me, so they're still not around.
Oh, that's also heartwarming too, though. I mean, that's a part
Nah,
of it as well.
it's you
Even
know
your
what?
grandma, even your grandma.
She passed.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're
Can we
good.
make a joke about it? Can we make a joke about it right
You're
now?
like, can we
So,
cut that right now? No,
yeah.
no. It's okay. She passed 3 years ago, and but during that time, she did see me, get on stage, and she didn't really see like I guess the fruits of the labor, I guess, but she did see me go up, and yeah, there she is. Aw.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
Yep, that's me. Super Cambodian. Yeah. And so that's the reason why I did it. I wanted to she was always, she was my first biggest fan, and she was always like, you could do anything. So she was always so supportive. And I try to talk about her in my stand-up. I'm So hopefully in time, this is why I'm trying so hard to make sure I talk about Cambodian and my culture so much. Is just to kind of, I don't know, I guess a way pay homage to her, not to make it, so sad. But I mean, there's a lot of jokes in here, people. I have a clip. I can show you guys kind of like how I t bring Cambodian into comedy if we want to show it.
Send the clip to Philip, and while Philip is queuing that up, I gotta say, the first clips that I saw you on Instagram were not actually about Cambodia. It was you and your black friend.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I saw, and I thought that was so funny. Okay, so explain. Okay, this is hilarious, and it just popped up in the algorithm. I have no idea why, but explain to the audience this thing you do with you and your black friend.
yeah, yeah. So
Black friend is
that
funny.
my black friend name is Willie Mack. Shout out to Willie Mack. And so I he was a comedian as well. He was a stand-up, and I met him very early on, kind of like when I moved to Los Angeles, and he kind of just took me under his wing and really showed me the ropes. And so I just thought, it's so funny because Cambodians, again, we're kind of like I always felt this way, like we were like the blacks of the Asians. So like as when me and him met and we thought of this like whole rush hour idea that it might have been funny that we created Afro noodles. I guess you guys can guess which one is the noodle in this scenario, but so like we were just trying to think of different ways to be funny. And so we thought of, oh, what if we just made a modernized like, Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan, but just in real life. So what would they be in real life? Where, okay, he's teaching me black slang, how to talk to black women in black accents. It just became a thing and it just grew. And so we started making really a lot of comedy skits around it and like, and that's kind of how it began. And we started doing stand up together on stage. And so it just kind of took off. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are walking a very thin line, and as far as I can tell, you didn't fall off, right? So, Willie Mack would say, would do, as you said, give you pickup lines in standard English, and then you would have to do it in black English.
Yeah.
I thought it was authentic, but what do I know? So
Should we play the clip? We got the clip.
let's play a clip.
Yo,
Oh my God.
shout out
Versus
Afro
Viet trying to
Noodles.
explain it. Shout out Afro Noodles.
Asian friend, how to holler at black women. We're gonna quiz them, rate them 1 through 10. Let's see how you do. All right, first one. Excuse me, you're walking kind of fast. Hey, slow down, mom. Let me holler at you. All right, next one. Oh yes, I'm Asian. Hey, what you know about Cambodians? All right, next one. You are just my type. Hey, tie your shoelaces, ma. I don't want you falling for anybody else.
So the real question is, do those pickup lines work when you do that?
Haven't had a success rate yet, but I think everything comes in time. It's the more swings at the bat, the more you eventually get a yes. And right now, there's been about 100 no's, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay.
But
That's also Danny's real voice,
have
by
you
the way.
tried these lines on Southeast Asian women though?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
still okay.
yeah, just a few restraining orders, but nothing crazy. So,
So, I mean,
Good.
Will, when you introduce yourself, I actually don't know your sexual orientation, so I don't know. When you introduce yourself, it's not a judgment. You just can't tell. Yeah,
It's crazy that was
haircut?
you or a
Is it-
judgment or
No, it's not
Is
you
it a haircut?
specifically. That's not you specifically. We're just not in an age where we should make assumptions about people's sexual preferences, right?
yeah,
But when you
absolutely.
introduce yourself to someone who you have a romantic interest in, is being a stand-up comedian like a plus or a negative or what? Or do you not mention it? Do you not mention it? Like you just that's like it's like a serial killer. You don't bring that part up.
Um, that's a good question. I never thought about it. You know what it is? I think I don't bring it up, but if it comes up naturally, then it comes up. Or if sometimes they see me at a show or something like that, and then so yeah.
So it's
Oh,
not
okay.
a,
So
so it's not an
they
active
they
part
have
of your
seen you on
gig.
they've seen you on stage. They think you're funny, so they want to talk to you afterwards.
You know what's funny? I gotten a few times there, but I don't know. Like they never even see me do stand up, but they're like, "Oh, I can like you look funny," and I'm like, "That's I don't know what that means," but
It's better than me. I get an Asian lesbian all the time, so it's fine.
Wait, they
I
think
would
you're an
do
Asian
it.
lesbian?
Oh yeah, I actually this is a good clip to play. I have that where I talk about I get assumed that I'm an Asian lesbian a lot, especially online. Way too much. My DMs. This is why I think bisexual women. This is why they hit on me a lot. I think it's because
Oh, oh, yeah. So I mean, like you're getting women who are hitting on you.
So it's
yeah,
working.
Oh,
it's working, you know,
That
and
works.
but once they hear the black accent, they're like, no, you know, so it's
Oh,
like,
it's too much. Too
yeah,
much.
it
Okay.
it might be a lot. It might be a lot.
Okay. All right. You know what? We're going to get to your successes all in due time. Like I know Will has his own apartment. It's incredible. You pay the rent on your own apartment. You don't like depend on your parents.
Hey.
You know, I'm sure that's a plus. I'm a stand-up comedian and I have my own apartment. Come on over. Okay, that's a plus. But before we get to your incredible accomplishments, like Danny, like I do a lot of public engagements. You know, I'm always kind of terrified, like who's going to show up, how many people are going to come, da da da. Is what I'm going to say going to land with the audience and so on. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like for you, before we get to all the incredible stuff, like what was your worst experience on stage?
Oh my gosh, this is a good one. I mean, there's so many for the first like 5 years of just your stand-up career, and then finally like at year 6, year 7, year 8, you're finally like, oh, I'm kind of funny now, you know? But there's so many bad shows until you get to that point. And I'm trying to think oh, I will. Okay, this is a good one. So this is probably my second time doing stand up, and I did one open mic one time, and I shouldn't have done well at that mic at all, right? And it's called the Sac Comedy Spot in Sacramento, and you go up, you do 5 minutes, and it just went luckily well, right? So and there was a booker at Laughs Unlimited that was there, and she saw me do really well. Her not knowing that this is my first time ever doing stand up, you know, she just assumed that I was just, you know, oh, he must be really great. So she books me. She's like, "Hey, I'm doing a big show at the Laughs Unlimited. I'd love to book you." And it's a 150, 170 or seater, and it's a sold out show. And she wanted me to book to do 10 minutes. She's like, "Do you have 10 minutes?" I said, "Yeah, no, I barely had five. This is my first time doing stand up, you know?" So I say, yeah, I go. This is my second show ever. And I I completely eat, you know, dog poop and for 10 whole minutes. And the whole time there was a homeless dude that snuck into the club and he was heckling me the whole time. And I didn't know how to even approach a heckler. So I'm over here talking about how, I don't know, I think a stripper, I think was raining down ones in my face or something like that. And no one's laughing, by the way. So this is really awkward. And so, and all in that time, this homeless dude was like, yeah, yeah, keep going. You suck. And I'm just pushing through it, you know? And so by the end of that set, that was probably the worst time ever. I think I'll tell you what, I did so bad, they kept the homeless guy in the show. So they didn't even kick him out. They were just kind of like, yeah, yeah, he should have gave, you should, for that performance, ugh, you know? So yeah, so that was a heavy one for me. I always remember that. And then I moved to LA and was like, you know what? I'm gonna take my talents to where it really matters.
But you know what? When I was trying to become a writer, I think there obviously the positive experiences are great, but the things that really made me into a writer were the negative experiences, like the
Yeah,
rejection, the isolation, the loneliness, the despair. I was like, if I can overcome that, then I can become a writer, and that's exactly what happened. So I think if people just if your entire life was like the first thing where everybody laughed, and you know, then that's a sort of an illusion. But if you can
right.
confront possibly the 10 longest minutes of your life,
Yeah.
right, and you can overcome that, then you're on the road to, you know, to getting this really. I assume you have to have a really thick skin to be a comedian. Will, what was the worst experience you had on stage?
Um, the first time I ever got paid for a gig, I was hosting at this. It was like a private club, like a Soho House type vibe. And then the lineup was stacked. It was like people on SNL, this girl that was in Jackass. Like it was people that I wanted to do good to impress, and I was hired to host. And I was maybe 8 months in stand up, and I went up there and the mic didn't work. The mic didn't work, and I was like, and then everything I lost them immediately, and everything I said, they were just staring at me like this. And then I'm the type I don't really do it now, thankfully, but back then when I was doing bad, I would sweat. And I remember I was sweating so bad. I saw a sweat drip past my eye. Like I saw it scroll down, and I was like, and I didn't want to like swipe it away and make it too obvious. So when I got up, it was like 10 minutes too. And when I got off stage, my entire shirt was drenched. And I was hosting, meaning I had to go back up in between the other comics. So I had to stay there the whole time. I couldn't just run away. And it was so bad that on the way home, I called my mom and I was like, I don't think this is, I don't think I got it. I don't think this is for me. So, but that was fun.
And then fast forward to now, where you're on this on the Accented podcast, our season finale for season 6. We're talking to Will Pepper and Danny Plom about comedy, Southeast Asians in comedy, and Southeast Asian comedic diaspora comedians. I think and for all the folks that are listening out there that are wondering whether it's the right career move to become comedians. I hope you're all taking notes. But one of the things I want to ask y'all about is like how important has community been in your careers? Like I know that y'all know each other. Did y'all meet through comedy and then y'all ended up doing this together, or was it on the circuit somewhere? Yeah, and how is it like? Does culture play a part of that, like community that you've created? Will, I'll start with you.
Community is the most important thing, I would say. I think like there are bookers, there man like you have managers and stuff like that do help push things, but the number one person or thing that will help progress you in your career is your other friend or your other comedian friends. And when I first met Danny, it was on a show at the Ice House in Pasadena, actually. It was like a couple years ago. And there's not all the Asian comedians kind of know each other, I would say. And even more specifically, like Southeast Asian comedians, there's so little of us. So like when we see someone that's like, we just vibe. But oh wait, when I saw Danny, I'm like, oh, like I didn't know there was, what I mean, more people like us out here. So we immediately just like clicked and vibes, and we try to stick together because it's comedy can be a very uh dark, dark time. It can be a very lonely and depressing time for sure. You're traveling a lot, so try to stick close with the people that we vibe with, I would say.
Mm. Danny, has it been the similar experience for you?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think Will hit the nail on the head there because when you kind of meet someone that like he said vibe with that you kind of have the same like I would say synergy if that's a right word to use in this context. Asian people, please correct me, but yeah, I feel like I just feel like when you find someone that you can click with and not just click with but click with comedically, it helps a lot. It makes things a lot easier because when we met and I thought he was super funny already and I was kind of like, "Oh my goodness, this guy is like just his joke writing, it's so structured, it's so clean, it's so on point." It kind of like inspired me a little bit to be like, "Oh, I got to get my writing up a little bit too, you know?" So, and then it just kind of from there we stayed in touch and then for me it's like keeping those people that help you grow as well is really important because there's a lot of comics out there that you meet and they don't really take the craft seriously, for an example. And so that's one thing I knew about, Will too, is that he takes the craft really, really serious. I mean, this guy is like traveling every week, and he's always constantly working on new jokes, always constantly trying to, push story forward. And so yeah, I think that's inspiring, and I like to keep people that are inspiring around because it helps me grow too. So.
All right. So we have a new comedian in the audience, name of Julianne, I believe. Julianne, I assume Julianne is a woman. She asks, "What tips do you have for someone starting off?" There's also not that many Viet female comedians. That's obviously a very important point to bring up at the present moment as we're looking at this panel. So, what kind of tips do you have for Julianne as a startup comedian, and why is there a dearth of Vietnamese and I assume Southeast Asian women comedians in general? Danny, what do you think?
That's a great question. Okay, first part of that question, I think the best advice is just get up as much as you can. There's no secret formula to getting good. It's doing those really crappy shows. It's doing those bar shows. It's doing those shows that nobody wants to do for the first few years, like 3, 4, 5 years in the game, and then within that you start building this really thick skin and you learn so much. You learn how to again, you can learn how to start handling hecklers. You just learn how to really think quick on your feet. You learn how to hold the mic. You learn how to, move the mic. You learn your positioning on stage. There's just so many things and technical things that you don't necessarily can learn from just watching clips online or, you just have to do it. And then over time, you just get better and better and better. And there's really no skip in the process, I would say. Um, but I would say, and then second part to that, I think a reason why there's not many of, I mean, us out there or even Southeast Asian women in general, I think it's you just that's why we're doing this is to push the narrative forward that we can do it and there should be more of us doing it. And I think a lot of our families and the way that we're brought up, it's never the first thought, right? To be like, oh, we should try to be on TV or we should try to be comedians. We try to be an entertainer as a profession. It's like your grandma, your mom, your dad, they'd be like, please, who are you to think you can do this for a living? And then it's like, but we're supposed to do something like nursing. We're supposed to do something like, in tech or in law or like, so it's just that's never been the narrative for people like us. So I don't know. I think that's probably part of the reason why we're not there's more of us, I guess in a sense. But yeah. So I think that's probably hopefully that answers that question.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, what do you think?
Um, I don't know where Julianne is based, but I would say like, well, the most important thing is community. I mean, yeah, you have to get up. That's there's no way around it. You have to get up. You have to bomb. It's gonna suck, but you have to do it. Something for myself that helped a lot was I started a weekly open mic, where it kind of started a community. Like a bunch of comedians in the LA area would come every Tuesday, and we would all hang out, and that's where I met a lot of my friends and got close to people, and they put me on their shows. I put them on my shows, and that's kind of like how you get connected to the community. That's a big thing. Yeah, I feel like to grow, to become funny, you got to get up, and to get up, you have to like 90% of the work is outside of the stage. Like you have to treat it like a job, even though you're not getting paid, you're losing money and it doesn't make sense, but you have to like get up and write and go to the mics and talk to people and make friends. And it's like that's the hard part. Like driving around LA, it takes so long to get to places. So
Hmm.
it's just like treating it like a real job and trying to meet people and build community.
And to
I
add,
just yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry, just to add to what Will said, like making friends is so critical. It's you got to find your circle in the community because like he said, you have to be likable. That's probably the number one thing in this industry is just the biggest advice is just be likable. Don't be a dick and just treat people with kindness because whether they're mean to you or not in the community, it's like you just put your head down, you do your mic, you write your jokes, you keep performing, you keep going up. But eventually you'll find that circle because what Will was saying is the reason why you do these mics is because you'll meet people that also run a show. And if you do these mics, it might not seem like it's leading to nothing, but it will. If you're funny and you get to a point where you're doing well consistently, and you're making people laugh and you're making the producers laugh, you're making the bookers of the shows laugh, they will put you on their show, a well-produced show. And then you do well at that show, and then it just goes from there. And so I think that's super important is to tie into that. But yeah, just wanted to add that.
I just want to respond to Julianne. Like, this show, DVAN's podcast, Accented, is something we just started. DVAN itself, Diasporic Vietnamese Artist Network, has its roots in things that myself and others did as college students at Berkeley. We looked around like, oh, there's not enough support for Vietnamese arts. Let's start our own organization, and look where we are now. So you start. I mean, like, this is actually such an important point about community. Like, sometimes we come in and we benefit from a community that already exists, but somebody had to start that community. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're getting here. There's a whole 30-year history that led up to the making of this podcast. And now we have Danny and Will here. But if you're a comedian and you're in Little Saigon, is it the right advice to say if there's no open mic out there, you got to start your own open mic? I mean, that would seem to be the thing. Like, there should be in this community of Little Saigon or Long Beach, a lot of Southeast Asians who would like want to hear comedy about their own lives. And then you start that open mic and some terrible young comedian will come out there and drop more bombs than a B-52 bomber. But that's how but then eventually they'll become as hot as napalm, stuff like that. See, I'm terrible. I would totally be terrible, right? But that's what you got to try out. Now, for both of you, I'm just really curious. Like, Will, you mentioned a lot of the work is unpaid labor. You got to make connections. You got to network. I think it's absolutely right. In every profession, including mine, you got to go out there, make yourself visible, and you never know what's going to come back to you. But one thing I'm curious about for both of you is, when you're comedians, obviously you only have so many jokes. You don't have like an infinite number. Mm-hmm. And so you have to repeat, right? You have to like do the same thing over and over. Like, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with like telling the same joke for the 50th time or the 100th time over? How do you deal with being in an audience that you think someone in the audience has probably heard your joke before? Danny, how do you relate to that?
That's a good question. So I find it interesting because, for like musicians, for example, when they go up and they perform the same song for 100 times, it's like no one ever questions it because they just want that same song, And with comedians, what people don't understand is like they always want us to talk about new material over and over and over again. It's like, oh, I already saw this last week. Why would I go and see him again, But I feel like for us, it's a constant building in your material. So it's not just, okay, this topic in year 4 might be it might only be as a 10-minute, bit, right? And then it starts off as that. And then by year 6, year 7 that you're in this, now it's completely grown into a full-on, 20-minute, joke. So there's always room to improve. I feel like that's how I look at it, is that it's going to be, the material is going to grow. You're going to always write new material. You're always going to go through new experiences, and you just got to live through it. So that's always where the source is going to come from. But yeah, I think for us, it's like, it's hard because we always have to constantly be thinking of new ways to creatively, add new jokes into your set and, tell that story. And so, yeah, but I try to approach it that way. So, I mean, there's also crowd work. There's also all these other things that go into it, but I'm sure will touch on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's like that's the magic of stand-up. Is like every time we do it, it's a different crowd. They don't know that we're saying it for the 100th time, and
Yeah.
it's like, can we make it seem like this is the first time that we're telling it? That's like the challenge of stand-up that I enjoy. And also each crowd is different. So like each time that I do a joke, it's a little bit different in my delivery, and so maybe I finish sooner, maybe I cut a part out just to try to find what is like the most lean way to tell this joke. And sometimes I do like an old joke that I don't like, but I just keep talking about it, and sometimes I find something new. So it's like I never know really, even though I said it up 10 million times. It's like this next time might be something different. So I try to have fun with it.
Yeah, it changes. It does change, I feel like we'll tell the same jokes 100 times, but again, like Will said, audiences, some react, we might throw a joke away after doing it for the 10th time and it doesn't work. You're like, okay, dang, you know what? Maybe this joke just ain't it. And then you'll do the 11th show that you did, and all of a sudden it just kills, and you're like, what the, oh man, it might be somewhere in Portland, Oregon that they really enjoy this, or I don't know. So it does change and it does vary, but which is crazy to say that comedy is subjective, right? Go figure.
Mm. We've got a couple of questions in the chat from Nadine and from an anonymous attendee about was there a particular moment, like a magical moment, where both of y'all knew that comedy was going to be worth pursuing seriously versus it being just like a hobby or something that you did on the side? Um, was there like a special moment? Was there like, you saw the road like the roads fork and then you're like, all right, yeah, like I'm gonna run it. Even after like bombing, even after doing like, making all the mistakes along the way.
Hmm.
Um,
So the question is like,
Was there a moment when you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna be a comedian?
oh, I think that, I mean, for me, that first good show you have, like that, when you just, every joke just hitting one after another, it was like, oh man, I want this feeling again. So yeah, I mean, that obviously that leads to other things in the industry, whether it's TV or movies or content, whatever it might be that your end goal might be, or writing on a TV show or whatever. But I think that's like the foundation, is that like getting that first laugh from something you wrote and thought of. It's kind of cool. I think that's what made me feel really good.
Mm.
yeah, I moved to LA when I was 21 by myself, and I didn't have any friends, so I don't like going to the club and stuff. So I went to open mics, and like that's where I met friends. That's where I hung out at, and then I didn't think of it as like a, oh my God, this is the end all be all. But it was just fun. I enjoyed performing, and then I got on some shows because of it, and then I just kept doing it. And I don't think there was a one moment, but like it was a definitely gradual process as I kept doing it, and I kept finding my voice, and I kept having fun with it. I was like, oh man, this is something I want to keep doing it. And like that feeling when you're on stage is addicting. I was like, when it's
Like chasing
when
that
you
high.
yeah, when you do good, when you do
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm. I want to
Yeah.
chase that bomb.
Yeah. Well,
In
as let's end on this note. Who is your Mount Rushmore of comedy? And let's just say that we're well aware that when we say the Mount Rushmore of comedy, a lot of indigenous peoples might be offended by that idea. But nevertheless, you have these four great faces of comedy out there that is your personal canon of people who you either found really, really funny or who have influenced you in some way. All right, Will Pepper, who is your personal Fab Four of comedy?
Uh, the first special I ever watched was actually Kevin Hart, uh, like his first stand up. That I watched it like over and over again. It was so funny, just how he tells stories, his face, everything. And people give him shit now, but he's still to me one of my favorites. I really like Shane Wang. Shane Wang is someone that can make something like lotion funny. Like I can't do that. I have to say crazy stuff. I'm telling stories and stuff, but I really respect him and how he's able to make lotion funny. Um, Ali Sadiq, he has some of my favorite specials on YouTube. He's like one of the best storytellers, and that's someone that I aspire to be like. And Jason Cheney, my friend, I opened for him on the road, but man, he is like one of my favorite people to watch. He's like really amazing at stand up, so I learned a lot from him. So
See, audience, you're getting the Fab Four of Will Pepper. I've seen these guys on Instagram. They are very, very funny. Danny, who's your Fab Four?
Okay, this is I would say, okay, first, the guy that inspired me to do comedy, I would say, was Michael Che, and he's like the weekend update,
SNL.
yeah, on SNL. I just think he's so like clever, and um just he's just his mind is so creative. I feel like if you haven't seen his stand up, I think everyone should watch it. It's really good. Like he makes things so outside the box, if that makes sense. And that's kind of like always what I try to go after when I'm talking in my stand up. It's a lot of just creative ways to be what's the word?
Just
A
forget
genius?
it.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Will.
That's
Sorry,
good.
I'm a little flustered because you left me off your Mount Rushmore, Will, so it's fine. But
No, no, no.
no,
You're on
I'm
top. You're on top of that
oh yeah,
knowledge.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but so Michael Che, I would say second, Jermaine Fowler. I don't think he does stand up anymore. But these are the guys that I kind of watched as I was coming up that helped me a lot, just kind of inspired me. Gerard Carmichael, um, I feel like from an Asian comedian standpoint, that kind of this is going to throw a lot of people off, but Dr. Ken,
Hmm.
I watched him, he was kind of like the first Asian comedian I saw. So I was like, whoa, and then he got his own TV show. So I just feel like he was such a character, that Dr. Ken guy, So I just feel like I'm gonna throw him up there as a homage to as an Asian comedian. And then last one, yeah?
Yeah.
No, no, you're bad at math.
Wait.
We've clearly established you're bad at math.
That
That
was
was
four.
actually four.
Oh,
But if you want to throw in a bonus fifth, if you have like the bonus fifth, sure.
um, man, bonus fifth.
You don't
Will
have to. We already
Pepper.
established you're bad at math. You got
We know
four.
this, guys. I'm Cambodian. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I would say, let's just say, Hassan Minaj. How about that? Hassan Minaj.
Damn. Okay, word. I'm like, as y'all are listening, I was like, I got an honorary shout out to Dat Fan from back in the day. Like, that's probably like the first like Asian
Oh yeah.
Vietnamese
OG comedian.
comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That fan.
shout out.
Shout out that
Um,
fan.
one last question to y'all before we close out for tonight. Thank y'all for being here. I mean, like this is our season finale. It's so y'all the first comedians that we've had on Accented. Our
Whoa.
show got jokes tonight. It's been a nice vibe. Where can the people find you, and what do y'all got going on next? Where can we look for you?
Yeah, I'm a Will Pepper comedy. I'm booking my first headlining tour. I'll be coming out soon. I'm gonna do some shows with Danny. We're gonna do Seattle, Portland, Irvine. We're booking Houston and Dallas. So I'm gonna be everywhere. And the boys going on a trip.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, guys, I'm Danny Plom, and also what Will said, we'll be going on a tour soon. So, follow our Instagrams, Plums, Will Pepper, and you'll see me. I'm around, I'm out there. Go to just follow the page. We got shows all over. I'm writing some really cool projects right now that I can't really talk about, but there'll be some really cool TV shows that is coming out soon and that I'm a part of. And you know, chase your dream. Don't give up.
Chase
All
your
right?
dreams, guys.
No matter how bad at math you are, everything will be okay. Just look at me. Okay? I can't count. I can't talk.
It's true. You can't count.
Well,
Yeah.
you can't count, but you do count. You can't count, but you do count. I'm so grateful
Yo,
to be here with
bars.
Philip Nguyen, Danny Plom, Will Pepper, three of the hottest jungle Southeast Asians out there as we wrap up our sixth season of Accented Dialogues in Diaspora. And Danny and Will, like good Southeast Asians, like the Viet Cong, you killed it tonight. That was
Hey.
awesome. Thank you everybody for joining us. Come back for the seventh season of Accented very, very soon.